Hello everyone, this is Frank DiMora, connecting the dots again between Bible prophecy and current events. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is the June 9th, 2014. And I want to get right into a prophecy concerning a false prophet and where he's going to be coming from. Very, very important news in light of what we're just seeing in the headlines. Now, what we know for sure when you read the book of Daniel, in the last days, the Roman Empire is going to be revived again. It already has within the European Union. We don't have to wait for it. It's already done. Now, the European Union hasn't usurped its full position yet because the tribulation hasn't started. But when it does, the revived Roman Empire, or the European Union, of which are the same nations that used to be in the old Roman Empire, they are going to enforce their rule, obviously, under the direction of a false prophet and a antichrist person, a man who will rise up from the European Union. And the bottom line is that when you read the scriptures, there will be 10 kings who are going to give all their power over to the antichrist, and he'll have complete rule. So with that, knowing that there's also a false prophet that's going to be coming, working with this Antichrist man, bringing together a false church, a worldwide false church. Now, obviously, I can't give you all of my documentation about how this one world religion, this false harlot church is coming together. But if you want that information, you can go into my book and get that today for free. Let me give you a little bit of insight here. Now, the word ecumenical means to establish worldwide. It was little known and hardly used by the news media, and since that time, the ecumenical ecclesiastical church has become a reality and in the headline news from week to week. The dream of a worldwide church was first presented in 1910 at the World Conference of Missionary Cooperation in Edinburgh. Now, the movement finally became recognized in 1944 with the formation of the World Council of Churches. And from 1944 to 1961, the council was of interest primarily to the liberal Protestant denominations. But in November of 1961, when the World Council met at New Delhi, there were Roman Catholic observers present for the first time. And this is very, very significant because it's the beginning of the formation of this one world colossal false church. Now, the first ecumenical ecclesiastical council was called by Pope John and recalled by Pope Paul. And this was an invitation to the church brothers separate from its perfect unity in a way to make attractive, easy, and joyous to them the secure recomposition of truth and charity of the mystic body and soul of the Catholic Church. Now, this condition of unity, keep this in mind because this word comes up quite often when we're talking about the Catholic Church. The condition of unity was that the separated Protestant brothers returned to the sole Catholic Church. Now, the Bible teaches clearly that following the rapture, ecumenical ecclesiastical church will be the church of Antichrist, the church of the Great Tribulation period. It will be a totally apostate church. We have warnings about this from Christ, and when he gives warnings about a false church and a false shepherd, then you should really be paying attention. Now, when you go into the book of Revelation, we see some other information that I want to give to you. In Revelation, we find the whore sitting upon many waters. Now, in verse 15 tells us that the waters are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So she has, get this, worldwide influence. This is the ecumenical ecclesiastical church. Now, in verse 2 of Revelation chapter 17, it says this: with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The great religious sin was fornication, which God mentions in relation to Israel in Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 2, chapter 3 verse 9, and Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 23, at least 20 times. Now, when you look in verse 3, now again, we're dealing with Revelation chapter 17. This speaks of the Antichrist supporting the harlot church for his own advantage. And the wealth of this woman is described in verse 4. Verse 5 speaks of Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So Babylon is the culmination of all the religious efforts of man and is the last stage of apostate Catholicism. Now, moving right along, again, we're in the book of Revelation. Jesus is giving us insights about what's going to happen in the last days. And behold, another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. So he looks like he's going to be some mellow, nice person, but he's not going to be. He's going to be given doctrines of demons. In verse 12, as you can see, it says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So we know Antichrist is going to be wounded. We know from the scriptures because he's going to be be able to move his arm in one eye, but he is going to live, and people are going to think that he's dead and he's coming back. So, in verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So we know a false prophet's coming. We know that the Antichrist is coming, having a power like no man has ever had before. Or at least not since we've seen the works of Moses and Elijah, the prophets of old who had powers that were given to them by God to do majestic things for the kingdom. So we know that the time is coming where the false prophet, the Antichrist, is going to come together. We know that we're living in a time when all prophecy is being fulfilled. And let me now show you another example of this one world religion coming together. Now this is recent news. The Christian News just published this. And the headline you can see from the June 8th, 2014, Joel Osteen meets with the Pope Francis at Vatican, and he's made the church more inclusive. In other words, bringing it together, bringing us one world religion. The one world religion that the book of Revelation talks about, the city with the 7 hills, Rome. This is where it's going to be developed from, and this is where it is, the seat of the Pope. And the Pope is definitely on the move, bringing this inclusive religion, if you will. I'm going to play a video. You can go to the website. I'm going to have the link there for you. You'll be able to read all about it. You'll see that this is news coming down from Rome. And you'll see all the people that were involved in there. The mega church speaker, most of you should know the author Joel Osteen, was among a group of political and religious leaders who met with Pope Francis at the Vatican on Thursday. And according to the reports, Osteen was part of a delegation organized, get this now, please, get this, by the International Foundation in an effort to encourage interfaith relations with, there you go, ecumenism. So again, in short, bringing a worldwide church together. And then, of course, she's got other people that were with them. You'll see the representative of the Mormon Church by a Utah senator. Senator Mike Lee was there. And then there's some other people, but I'll let you read who was there. I'm going to go down and play this video for you.
More than 60,000 people will pack Yankee Stadium tomorrow for a night of hope. It's a huge event featuring Lakewood Church pastor Joel Osteen and his wife Victoria. Before he arrived in New York, Osteen paid a special visit to the Vatican, where he met with Pope Francis. Tonight, Osteen shares the experience with Local 2 anchor Dominique in a story you'll see only on 2 tonight.
I'm here at Yankee Stadium in New York, where Pastors Joel and Victoria Osteen are getting ready for Lakewood Church's Night of Hope coming up tomorrow night. As we sat down and talked about the preparations for the big event, Joel revealed to me an incredible opportunity he just had to meet with Pope Francis.
I just felt very honored and very humbled. Seeing the Pope give the Mass to 100,000 people that day, you just see, he's had such a heart to help people. I love the fact that he's made the church more inclusive. Not trying to make it smaller, but to try to make it larger, to take everybody.
Make it larger. And now get this, to take everybody in. Watch.
And so that just resonates.
I'll play that again so you make sure you get it.
To make it larger, to take everybody in. So that just resonates with me. You know,
It resonates with him, but you have to follow the scriptures. And if you're not going to follow the scriptures, then you're going to be one of those people that Timothy talks about, not following sound doctrine. Now, I know that the Pope looks like he's doing a real good job. He wants to make every religion inclusive, bring everybody together. It sounds good, but it is a death ring to many, many, and millions of people around the world who are going to be caught in the tribulation because they were caught off guard into a false religion that has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. And of course, the scripture do talk about the horn, the horns that came up like a lamb. Well, obviously, you have a pope that looks like one of the saviors, a lamb almost. But as we know from the scriptures, it's not going to turn out well for anybody that follows him. Let me continue on.
He really expressed his desire for us to pray for him. He asked us to pray for the Middle East.
It seems like the Vatican was trying to send a message by doing this. What would you say that is?
I think the message is that they respect people, all people, and that they want to see unity.
Was it surreal to be asked by the Pope to pray for him?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, let me stop it right there, because he just said that they want to see unity. And when they mean unity, they mean Buddhists, the Hindus, the Christians, the Muslims, and anybody else out there who has a different religion. He wants to bring them together. He doesn't care. And we'll see, if you do a Google search, you'll see that the Pope has already stated that you don't even have to be at or belong to a church. You don't even have to be a Christian, that God will forgive you. And these are all product of the two horns. One looks like a lamb, but it is all darkness. It is deception beyond measure.
Amazing, and even to go back in that part of the Vatican, there's so much history there. The places that they took us through, and just you feel that deep respect and reverence for God.
With Rome behind him, Joel feels he has divine inspiration fueling his message for tomorrow night. Reporting from Yankee Stadium in New York, Dominique.
So if you have a pastor now that is embracing something that Jesus said stay away from, beware of what that pastor is going to say. All I'm going to say is listen carefully to what he is saying. And if he wants to start joining this movement, this unity movement, inclusive movement of all religions, being based out of Rome, if you're in that church, the first thing I would do is find the exit and go for it very, very quickly. We're at a time where all of the prophecies are being fulfilled. And the Pope may look good, he may sound good. But if it's against the word of the Lord, and especially from the warnings in the book of Revelation, take heed to what Christ has to say. God bless.